Good day, everybody. Hey, I didn't have any technical difficulties this morning. Man, hallelujah. How are y'all doing today? Psychedelic nonprofit attorney Greg Lake here with the Entheo SK channel. Today, we're going to be talking about the religious science with music festivals, okay? But before I get into that, just wanted to come and say hello to everyone. I see Debbie's here. I love you, Debbie. Thank you very much. I hope y'all enjoyed the conversation over on Entheogenic Esquire yesterday with Adam Thomas and John Bray. Um, yeah, I loved it. I was honored to share space with John and Adam. It was good. I'm not going to go into in depth on this channel this morning about that per se. I will do a member stream over on Entheogenic Esquire this afternoon, I do believe. And we'll talk about it, like a little bit of a wrap up, and see what y'all's thoughts are on it. Thank y'all for coming over here and supporting. I think our next move, as far as my household here, I have other social media, Patreon, TikTok, Instagram. And I'm going to start getting my followers over there over to this channel. So, but I tell y'all that this is going to be possible because y'all are so badass. Y'all are so badass. Hey Bonnie, how you doing? And I'll explain more later why y'all are so badass and why I feel confident that I'm going to be able to foster a really good community over here with y'all as the base. But we'll do another stream and talk about that moving forward. But as advertised today, we're going to be talking about again. And people might say, Greg, religious science, what the hell is that? Like those two things. Look, and we're going to talk too before we jump into it about the difference between primary religious experiences and secondary religious phenomena. Now, hey, I make a commitment on the channel, as I said last night with the interview with John Bray in regards to expert theories on the Charlie Kirk case. Same here in regards to religion, science, all that stuff. We are going to be dogmatic about being non-dogmatic, okay? Because at this juncture in the game out here in the world, I think being dogmatic is shooting yourself in the foot in a lot of ways. And I could expound on that. People who want to be dogmatic in their religion, that's fine with me. Please be peaceful and, respect others in that. And you're still welcome on this channel. Hey, you might hear some things that might challenge some of your dogmatic beliefs. I do it in a very loving way if I ever do. You'll never hear me bash someone's religious or spiritual beliefs. Like, I'm a very firm believer that, like, whatever in your heart, whether it be beliefs or practices that put you in contact with the Lord, with God, like, lean into that. Whatever makes you feel good and love yourself, and therefore feel good and love others. I mean, that's what it was. That's what it is. It's what I support. Do you? In my thinking, religion is actually a very personal thing. Now, that's not to bash organized religion or churches or anything like that, but I do believe that at its core, those true beliefs in God and how God works in your life are very personal, and can be shared with the group, right, with the community for sure, but at their very nature, very, very personal. And let me just give you my perspective on this before we jump in. Before I ever sat with the Sacred Toad, the day that I first felt divine grace in my walking everyday life. Hey, Scout, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Like I told y'all the other day, I thought I knew a bit about religion, spirituality. I didn't know nothing. If you'd have asked me before then, what's the difference between a primary religious experience and secondary religious phenomena, I wouldn't have been able to tell you much about that. But hey, 5 minutes coming off the forest floor with the Sacred Toad, man, I knew a lot about it. And that thread's going to be going all through the content on this channel, including the content today about music festivals. Will bleed into that as well. And the reason why we're talking about this, and I know a lot of people are probably like, oh, the damn hippies at the music festivals, they're all crazy and drugged up and all that. And, in a lot of ways, that's correct. We got to call it a spade. But let me tell you this, just in my personal experience, and I was a late bloomer to the music festival scene. man, it's just, I will say this. You can say what you want to about those people, but for the most part, they are very emotionally and spiritually secure in themselves, and it makes for just a really good environment when you got about 50,000 people on a couple hundred acres and there ain't no problems. No problems. Like, I tell people all the time on these music festivals, I'm serious. If you can get the $400 or $500 to get the ticket and just show up, like literally, you can have people drop you off at the front of the property and you walk through there. You don't need to bring nothing, and you will have everything that you need and more. And that's the spirit there, right? And so, just kind of drawing a rough sketch before we jump into some of the stuff that I put together today. Now, in regards to what I put together today, I actually, through my legal work and with the entheogen and stuff like that, and my own personal experience with music festivals, I started to think, is there any science about, because I've had full-blown mystical religious experiences. Like, let me tell y'all something. When you go to a late night closee show at one of these music festivals, you ain't gonna be able to walk out of there and not tell me you didn't feel spirit channeling through it. I'm just telling you, it's incredible. And so, today we're going to be looking at, and really we're just going to be looking at my ChatGPT outline. I do have the specific studies in my hard drive, but man, let me tell y'all, that hard drive's full. But we're going to draw those out over time. Hey, Lisette, how you doing? Debbie Scout, how y'all doing? Yeah, the great jazz. Yeah, I've been to that jazz festival in Norman too. And when I say music festival, it doesn't have to be an electronic music festival, as we'll see in a minute. It really covers any like musical gathering where people are gathering for music and song and dance. Yeah, man. Yeah, music festivals in Austin are badass. Yeah. So, all right. So I'm speaking to a friendly crowd here. So y'all have at least some idea what I'm talking about. And I'll say this too. You can have these experiences at a music festival without being on drugs. Okay. Obviously a lot of people do drugs, these music festivals, and it does help. Like, okay. And we'll cover this too later in this channel, that the science also tells us that these drugs also have a high propensity to cause people to have mystical religious experiences, even MDMA. I'll whip that one out on y'all one day. And so, but again, I'm not advocating any of that here. Right. I'm positing to you that if you show up with a good attitude and want to be part of a community and go dance and have some music, you can also have one of these experiences, to varying degrees, obviously. And, look, this morning it was funny because I had planned to do this episode today, and I actually saw Candace's keynote speech at the Catholics for Catholics conference and just randomly tuned in. I just wanted to hear her personal testimony, and it really saddened me because I really think Candace, she was expressing her struggle with feeling the religiousness, like in the Catholicism with like the Mother Mary. She even expressed some trouble feeling the religiousness and having her first son. And it really saddened my heart for her in a way. I mean, look, I'm not like sad for Candace. I love her to death, but like, just so she knows, y'all know, like there are ways to like propagate these things, right? That religious feeling and experience, that primary religious experience where you feel filled with the Spirit. You know what I mean? It's incredible. And, I've channeled it so many times in my days working with the entheogens that now I can just pretty much naturally do it. Like I tell you, just watching the sun come up here in the mountains is a religious experience for me every morning. And that's why I get up early to do it. I feel and it's like, it's the perfect, like crisp up here in the mountain air that like when the sun does come out, you like feel that warmth, and it just like really, really, really enlightens my soul on a daily basis, and then through the day, I do ecstatic dance, listening to music, stuff like that to really like keep that vibe up through the day. But, these things were learned over time, and a lot of it too is letting go of your ego. And like I say, I dance. Like I'm a grown ass dude. I'm up here dancing, break dancing and stuff, being goofy. But that's what keeps me, just for me, that's what works to keep the Spirit in me throughout the day. So I don't want to venture too off topic here. But anyways, I hope that kind of sets the stage. But before we do, y'all, look, Buddy Bear, what are you looking at over there? Oh, you looking at the new Solomon Island figures? Dude, those are beautiful. I don't blame it. He was over there hugged up on Baron earlier this morning. I guess he done switched over to the science now. But I was doing working with ChatGPT to put these notes together yesterday. Here comes Buddy. I said, he was sitting there and said, what'd you say, buddy? This dude goes, bro, I done seen these funky hippies at these music festivals. I said, you seen the funky hippies music festival, bro? What music festival you been to? He said, oh, I've been to one. I said, well, where were you? He said, I was in the bushes. I said, what? You didn't go to a music festival in the bushes? You out there peeping the trash and smelling diapers, you nasty bastard. Yeah, so Buddy Bear over here tripping. I don't think he's ever been to a music festival. I think he's still all street over here, but we still working it out. I'm giving him all the slack that I can all the time. We're all charity around here, so Buddy Bear, he fits in. He loves Barron. He loves Barron. I don't know. He's from the streets apparently. He loves Barron. So, we definitely jive on that. And so we're going to keep it going with Buddy Bear. But anyways, let me go ahead and pull up these notes for y'all from the ChatGPT conversation I had. I mean, y'all might just like the ChatGPT conversation that I had. Give me just a second. Let's see. How do I pull up a Word document? Give me just a second. Okay, there we go. All right, there we go. Now we got it. All right. And y'all might like it. Y'all might think it's cute how me and the ChatGPT go together, how we talk. But let's just go through what it says. Core thesis, my hook. It says music festivals aren't just entertainment. They reliably induce measured altered states and meaning-making experience that meet the functional definition of religion. And this is true. And again, we'll sort this out more fully later in the academic literature and stuff. But for now, I posit to you, it surely does. But it says segment 1, what the science actually shows. You go, you don't need fluff. Hit the strongest points. 1, collective effervescence. This is this Durkheim study here, and I'm going to actually pull this up so I can look more at y'all while I do this. So this Durkheim study, I've looked at it before. I have it, obviously, but it says, people in synchronized groups, music, dancing, chanting, entered shared emotional states that feel transcendent. And just so we're clear, this notion here of collective communal dancing for religious altered states purposes, that actually plays out in the anthropological record back thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And truth be told, probably some of the earliest religious expression in human beings had to do with nighttime, fireside, chants, dancing, entering transient states, probably with entheogens, probably mycological entheogens. But that's another episode. We're going to talk about Dr. Michael Winkelmann's work. But anyways, they also broke it down here, obviously, with the neurochemistry, right? Dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins. And so again, this is a natural high right here, right? That's what we would call it, right? A natural high. And it says, this cocktail mirrors what's observed in religious rituals. And that's true. And again, there is actually evidence in the anthropological record that even backs this up for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, predating all of our modern religious institutions. And then it goes here on to talk about, and I'll pull these specific studies, we'll talk about them, but studies on festivals, EDM, Burning Man, etc. People report ego dissolution. Now, that's a big one, y'all. I can't express to you how empowering and freeing a moment of ego dissolution is, but it can also be very, very terrifying, right? These things are to be approached with respect. Like if you're going to either consume a consumption or enter into a practice where you expect to have some ego dissolution, please understand that that's not something you should take lightly, because once your ego dissolves, in my experience, you're in communion with God. Like once your ape mind gets out of the way, you are channeling pure spirit, and it can be a jarring experience for people, and it can be traumatic for people. Okay, so just remember that. But people who go through that experience, and it can be very, very beneficial. It can be the most life-changing thing you've ever experienced. Unity with others. This is also expressed in the scientific literature many times as cosmic unity or unitive consciousness. And it really goes along with ego dissolution, because again, your ego is what tells you that you are separate from everything and everyone else. Once that goes away, you feel one with God and everything. Okay. It's a very powerful experience. Okay. It doesn't matter what, and here's what, in my experience as a entheogenic religious attorney, it doesn't matter what your religious persuasion is. It's going to be a powerful experience. Now, for some people, it might push them away from whatever their organized religious persuasion is, but in most instances where it's beneficial, it pushes them more towards God in a more personal relationship, right? So again, we're not here bashing organized religion or anything like that. I'm just speaking from my experience and what the science shows. But again, there's people like in the Pentecostal churches and stuff, right, where they do all these dancing and stuff like that, that have these experiences too. Okay. So again, it's really an individual thing. Where do you feel comfortable? Where do you feel in community? Where do you feel in fellowship? You know, these things really matter. And if you're going to undergo a practice or ordeal to do this, you know, I always recommend, if you're doing it with others, which, you know, depending on what you're doing, you probably need to have people around, just make sure those are good people and make sure those are your people. Okay. And I'll just leave that there. But, you know, other things here, life meaning insights. So that's a big one too. So life meaning insights would be something short of ego dissolution or cosmic unity, but yet very profound and meaningful, meaning that you're getting, you know, thoughts about your life, how to fix your issues, that just sudden flashes of inspiration that feel divine. And perhaps, you know, if you assign that meaning to them, then by God, they are. And so still very, very, very profound stuff. And then ultimately all these, if they're done in a good, positive, loving environment, can lead to long-term behavioral changes. And I've seen it thousands and thousands upon thousands of times personally. And as ChatGPT says, that's not entertainment, that's transformation. It is, y'all. And we're living in a crazy world. So we're just talking about these things because if you ever feel lost, you know, maybe this might be a place where you can go and find something for yourself. Just putting it out there. You know what I mean? Segment 2, the structure of ritual. This is where it gets interesting. It says, break it down like a liturgy. Religious element, pilgrimage, traveling to the festival. It is, you know, you get all prepared. You're going to be camping, so you get supplies, you get with your buddies. This is where we're going to be. We're going to meet here, you know, like, and then that trip there, it's like a pilgrimage. You're putting in dedicated time and energy to go and set up and make it as most beneficial and fun as possible. Sacred space, the festival grounds. So yeah, so, you know, and then people set up their camps. Man, people will put up their altars. They'll put up flags, you know, representative of them. And so, you know, they make their sacred space along with obviously the festival area where the music's going down. It's awesome. Ritual timing, you know, the set times, sunrise sets are always really killer. The late night sunrise sets are always very transformative. Just magic's in the air at that time, you know. Chanting music, DJs, live sets. I mean, or, you know, jazz bands, whatever that is. Austin, New Orleans. You know, we always went to Halloween on the Suwannee. Communion, shared substances. Again, not saying you have to do that. I'm not advocating that, but obviously we all know when you go to festivals, those things are available. And normally, you know, law enforcement at those events are just generally relaxed on the issue. And, you know, the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, is that most what we would term psychedelic substances, right, generally don't have people belligerent, fighting and being crazy with one another. They're hugging one another, you know. So the cops are seeing that. They're cool, right? Most of the time the police are used to like other kind of like concerts and stuff where people are like getting into it and stuff, but it's not like that at a lot of these music festivals. And then at the end, transformation. I'm not the same after. Yeah, and again, that can come in a myriad of ways. You can be totally sober, dancing, meeting new people, find your tribe type thing, you know, or you might take some LSD and have a very transformative experience. I don't know. Maybe those things happen too. Pretty sure they do. But that's up to you. You know, that's completely up to you. You know, hey, I'm at the point in my life where the next music festival I go to, I'm going to go raw. I'm going to do it completely sober because I know that you don't necessarily need that to have these experiences. I'm at the point in my life where I want to channel it that way. But hey, you're never going to see me hating on or talking down on because I've also done it the other way, right? So that's where I'm at in my life. But I'll just tell you, the experiences are so profound. Experiences are so profound. They really are, man. It can give you, if you lose hope in society, in the world, these things can give you some hope in it. It really can. I mean that. Segment 3, legal implications. Here we go. This is your home turf. Lean in. Courts done. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that today. We're not going to talk about that. But we are going to talk about this segment 4, why mornings matter. feel realm connected. Post festival mornings, integration. Okay, yeah. So this is also a ritual too. Is a lot of people when they wake up or they get moving the next day, they'll like all sit around, maybe smoke, something like that, and just share their experiences and share the profoundness of it and dig into that and maybe talk further about it. What we call integration in the psychedelic space. Always beneficial. Always beneficial. Anytime you're in the mix like that, days on end, anytime you can stop to collect your thoughts, especially with others, and relay them, feelings, emotions, that's all healthy. That's all spiritually, mentally, physically healthy stuff that you should be doing. You should be doing, but hey, some people internalize it, right? Some people have been very, very deeply traumatized, and sometimes that needs to be worked out within too, and that's okay. In either way, I can guarantee you there's going to be people there to hold space for you either way. Okay. And that's the good thing about it. Reflection, meaning consolidation. I think I just covered that. Talking about the integration. This is where experience becomes belief. It does. Emotion becomes narrative, and narrative becomes identity. That's literally how religion forms. Again, like I said when I started, religion in my worldview, or I guess I don't know, my cosmology, whatever you want to say, is very personal. Very personal, at least at its core, right? When you get your core fundamental beliefs of how God is working through you in your life, to me that's very personal, and that is your actual personal religion, right? Now, ChatGPT, let me go without this talking about the dark magic angle. Don't go conspiracy, go psychological truth. These environments are intentionally engineered, highly immersive, neurologically potent. And as we're seeing today, the dark magicians have pervaded almost every single corner of our life. And so, again, leaning back into the notion that religion be very personal, between you and God. Just my opinion, right? Just my opinion, my perspective. So ask the real question: is this conscious ritual design or unconscious cultural emergence? Or more proactively, if something reliably alters consciousness and belief, who's responsible for how it's used? You are, right? You are responsible for how you're going to channel that energy. Okay. You're going to be responsible for that. But just as we always talk about on this channel, be please very aware that dark magic does touch almost every corner of this earth, in the woods up here in the mountains, it doesn't feel so intense, but I tell you, in Florida, it does. But I'll leave that there, and I'm going to remove this from the screen now, and we will, I'll start looking at some comments. Man, thank y'all very much for showing up today. Like I say, this is really an intro because there's a lot more scientific evidence like related to some of the substances and some other anthropological works I want to talk to y'all about in this regard as far as like communal gathering and religious experiences. It's something that I've studied for a very long time. I've written a 325-page book on. And we'll go through the book too. I'll do some book summaries and stuff. We'll look at some of my books. I think y'all will find some of it informative. Again, I'm not advocating anybody do anything here other than, show up with an open mind. That's it. Let's see. What's Debbie say? I did very much enjoy it, and I love you and back, and I love music festivals and concerts. I was blessed to see Van Halen with Wolfgang before Eddie died. Man, I'm a big Van Halen fan too. And I told y'all on this channel, I'm going to be doing playlists, but I'm going to get back into music production. I played guitar since I was 7 years old. I have an Ableton pad, MIDI pad and stuff. So I'm going to start doing music production and stuff, but I've always been a huge guitar nut, and obviously Eddie Van Halen's one of the best. And so, yeah, I bet that's powerful. A guitar solo, especially live, you can feel it too. I don't know if y'all have watched it, but Prince did a solo at like the 2001. They were inducting George Harrison posthumously into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Well, apparently Prince had been denied one of the top 100 guitarists by Rolling Stone the year before. So when he got invited to do this My Guitar Weeps with Tom Petty and some other people, he completely shredded the end guitar solo and just completely acted a fool. It was so awesome. I think it's one of the I think it's got like 60 million plus views on YouTube. I got to go check it out. Like I watch it almost daily because just watching that video of Prince acting up and just ripping it, like it channels that energy for me. So yes, guitar solos, especially, I have found in my experience, both playing them and listening to them are very powerful. Yeah, playing the guitar too is very powerful. Electric guitar for me, for sure. Debbie, I've been to the jazz there in Norman before. It is good. Bonnie, going to music festivals in Austin and big concerts around the world have been some of the best experiences of my life. I mean, I can't argue with it. I can't argue with it. You know, I told you I started playing guitar at 7. I think at age 10, I played my first punk show. And that was powerful too. But yeah, most every concert I've ever been to, there's only been like kind of one that was kind of tough, but has been pretty powerful experience. Yeah. I love to see y'all communing up here, telling each other, hey, good morning, beautiful. Good morning, sunshine. Yeah, man, it's good to see y'all here. Thank y'all for all the love and support. I'm definitely like a cat. I've had about 8 near-death experiences, and God showed me the way every time. Hey, it takes that sometimes, right? I've also had powerful religious experiences, like when I was taken against my will and beaten within inch of my life and had to like struggle out of it. When I finally like felt free of the situation, and it actually took a few days, I had an emotional cathartic release. It didn't heal the trauma then, but it helped me get through. It was a pretty hard time. Let's see. So Bonnie says, have you read any of David R. Hawkins' books, Greg? No, I haven't, but I'm going to write that down and check that out, Bonnie. And hey, I might be doing some videos on it. I have a note here to let y'all know. There's actually in New Orleans on Sunday mornings around 10 o'clock. I forget where they gather, but it's like base church. And it's everybody just rolling in from the weekend and meeting to this one place and have like a digital music show, electronic music show. They call it Base Church, and you know it's their church. You know, for those people, that's their church, right? That's their people. They go and they meet up on Sunday morning. They've been going all weekend, but like that's where they meet and commune together and get right for the week. You know, so again, people get it in all different ways, and I respect that. The extent that they're peaceful and doing their thing. Amen. Yeah, let's give a prayer. Dear God, please be with our sister Susan. Please love on her. Please be with her. Please show her the truth and the way and the light, and that she work through whatever darkness that she feels, that she be the most powerful transmuter of that dark energy into your good grace and your light. Amen. There we go. Susan, we love you. Please, you got my email. If you need me, just reach out. I've been through it all. I've been through the whole shebang, man. I've been through the whole shebang. Still going through it, right? We still going through it over here. But we doing it in a very positive, in our body, in spirit, in God way over here, okay? And so if any of y'all need any like personal talk time with me to get that with you, just let me know. I'll be glad to meet with y'all. If I can help, right? Maybe talking to me makes it work. I hope not, but Scout says, I've been to many concerts, but not festivals. Yeah, and look, like I say, I think through other testimony here today, we've established that, a concert can be just as powerful, right? And you could say it depends on the music, but like some people listen to heavy metal and feel it, like it's really weird how music works that way a lot of times. But, I'll just say, I have found in my experience electronic music festivals to be the most powerful and conducive in that way. I just have, and again, maybe my experience is wrong, but I do think there is some science to that too, that we've kind of touched a little bit today and we will in the future. But yeah, Scout, I can't recommend it enough. I really can't. I mean, if you feel that way in your life, like you're losing faith in the community and stuff, like it will restore that faith. It will. It really will. You'll say, okay, there are good humans out here that love and care for one another, total strangers. It's a beautiful thing for me. Let's see. Play Freebird. Yeah, so I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start making like beats and rhyme, or like I say beats, but like instrumentals and stuff like that, and then maybe lay some lyrics and stuff over it. And hey, I might do some live streams where I just like flow with it with y'all. If y'all ever want to join something like that, like I say, I'm going to neatly segment this channel. So that way, the music stuff that I'm doing or whatever, if y'all are interested, that's fine, man. I ain't gonna hate on y'all, man, if y'all don't come to those streams or watch those videos. But this channel is going to be a pure expression of me in all the forms that I can film. And so, I would imagine y'all find some of it interesting, cool, some of it not. But look, y'all are my core crowd. I love y'all no matter what. I got nothing but love in my heart for really everybody, even the people who've done me wrong. And I'll just say this: that's probably the most powerful spiritual journey, is through the darkness of loving your enemies. It's transmuting that energy. It's very freeing. Every time I make an outline for an episode, I put a point to talk about haters, because in my life experience, if you are doing anything worthwhile or good, you're going to have that contrast coming at you. And the universe always seeks balance. And so, to keep doing good, I mean, you can lean into that of your enemies. And, depending on how far you lean into it, you're going to veer off track. But that's the challenge, right? Because the universe is seeking you to balance by acknowledging it and leaning into it. But at the same time, that's veering you off your path. And so that's a whole spiritual transmutation conundrum right there that I'm still working on every single day. But with that being said, my always go-to move is to just not even acknowledge the hate. And so that's why I haven't been talking about haters. Because, boy, they out there, man. They are really out there. I've been to the Zoo Amphitheater. Yeah, I'm in the Zoo Amphitheater. Let me tell y'all, in Oklahoma City, Debbie, when I was in law school, there's a club up there. I don't know if it's still there, but it's called Groovies. And Groovies was our place, all right, because Groovies played 70s, 80s, 90s popular dance music. They have a gold star in the middle of the dance floor, and hey, I'm a dancer. I actually broke my foot dancing before there at Groovies. But they would play Billie Jean, and they have this gold star in the middle of the club. And I would tell my people, look, ain't nobody going to touch that star while this dance is going on, Billie Jean. And I hold it down. I actually was a casualty. Like I said, I broke my foot there dancing. Getting down. But yeah, it's fun, even back then in my rage addiction, those were times still that I felt really in tune with this higher notion of consciousness a bit. Not as much as I have later in life, but definitely felt it that way. So again, even though we talked about music festivals today, really any music gathering, communal dance, chanting, whatever, good stuff. Oh man. I'm trying to think. I've got a few meetings back to back this afternoon. I'm going to catch up on a member stream on the Entheogenic Esquire this afternoon with just my members. We'll be talking about the John Bray expert discussion last night with Adam and us. I thought it went great. I'm very honored to share space with John Bray. And we're going to talk about all these different theories and the people going off in the comments and stuff. Because Buddy's got some stuff to say, don't you, Buddy, about Jordan? Yeah. Buddy's got some thoughts on Jordan that he's going to share with us over there on the member stream. And good ones. It's all in love with Jordan. I know Jordan has also worked very hard on his theory and stuff. But we're going to have fun. We're going to have fun over there. I'm going to take care of a few business items, trying to pay bills around here. But then we're going to come back to the channel. So yeah. Oh, thank you, babe. Thank you, Nish. I appreciate it. To be honest with y'all, I sat back in the back thing of Adam's StreamYard for about an hour and a half or more. I had written out all these expert questions. I was going to do the trial lawyer thing. And by the time I got on stage there with him, man, I'd been going about 16 hours working, y'all. And you know what? I just felt like, let's just have a conversation. Let's just have a real person conversation with John. I mean, I did talk a little trial lawyer stuff here and there, but I just said, let's just have a basic conversation of where he's at on just generally. And I think it went well based upon what Basic Niche is saying. It did go well. So I hope y'all weren't disappointed that I didn't come in with all the trial lawyer stuff, but I think we did cover the important stuff. Cover the important stuff. And before we got on last night, John Brace said, "Look, y'all, I'm just trying to get to the truth, bro. Whether it was this exploding or not, like, really doesn't bother me at all. Like, I just want the truth." And I felt that. I felt that he was very sincere in that. And and in that, I really enjoyed sharing space with him. Debbie, I believe my brother was telling me a place that he loved to go to take ecstasy and go dancing in the city. Yeah. So, and we'll cover this because I covered it in my third book that I wrote. Back in the late 80s, mid to late 80s, I believe, there was a doctoral student at Harvard Divinity School by the name of Elaine Lucas, who did her doctoral thesis on the question of whether basically can MDMA be a religious sacrament. And so what they did is they conducted some studies where they held religious ceremonies for people with MDMA. And they'd have like a fire pit, and they'd have people bring like personal, meaningful totems, whether it's a picture of a family member, flowers, whatever it is. And they'd have an MDMA ceremony and then talk to the people. And yeah, she concluded that, in the proper set and setting with proper intentions and stuff like that, the words that they used, if I remember correctly, is that MDMA can impart divine grace upon people, And again, this isn't just me saying this, right? I've obviously experienced that before, but this is like a doctoral student at Harvard Divinity School that like actually did scrub the floor and did the research to show that. And so the continuing conversation that we're going to have on this channel is, how does that narrative fit within our current legal paradigm under the Controlled Substances Act? Okay. Considering other constitutional protections for freedom of religion. Basic Niche said his credit, talking about John, and I'm sorry I'm jumping around a little bit here, but Basic Niche says, his credibility went through the roof for me. No offense to Adam, but it seems John didn't have a lot to gain from being interviewed. The truth was focused. I agree. Yeah, no, and I don't think Adam takes offense to that. I really think Adam approached that interview just as with curiosity. And quite frankly, I think Adam did a good job interviewing him. Just my personal opinion, Adam did good. I think they went a little long before bringing me on, but I'm not putting ego in that. I think it's just, I say that because I was tired. I was tired. It was late on the East Coast over here. But thank you, Basic Niche. I appreciate that. I don't think Adam takes any offense to it at all. He appreciates your support too. Yes, the truth is all I want. Then seeing the person responsible get accountability. Yeah. So as I've said, I think our first focus on our channel obviously is trying to help Tyler Robinson's situation. And then hopefully that gets acquitted if it's true, that he didn't do it. And then we can really focus on holding accountability, because that's going to be an important last step in this process for all of us to heal, for all of us to identify the dark magic that has occurred, in my opinion, and really focus on how we move forward from this. And I'll end on this. Andrew Colvett, brother. I still hold a ministerial position, role, title in a sense. And so if you want to come talk to me under privilege to maybe think about working some stuff out, dude, we can do it completely confidential. I don't do this YouTube thing for money. I don't care about clicks or none of that. I care about healing the world. And so I do believe that you possibly talking to me in confidence might help that along. I'd be glad to have that conversation with you, brother. I really would, in love and all honesty. Hey, Rick, what's up, man? Good to see you, dude. I hate you kind of join us on the tail end here, but if you want to go back and watch the video, if you're interested, I know they have music festivals down there in Australia too. And I know a lot of people down there that enjoy those things and get into those things. And Australians have been nothing but beautiful people in my experience. One day I hope to have the funds to come down there and kick it with y'all, man. I want to come kick it in Australia, dude. Shrimp on the Barbie, bro. On the Outback, man. We bet they're dancing, meeting God, dude. Meeting God. Yeah, Rick, you're a rock star, Rick. God bless you, man. God bless you. And God bless your country, and God bless your people too. God bless y'all. Absolutely. Y'all are way better than the British. I don't know what they talking about sending criminals over there, dude. Y'all are cool, dude. Y'all are cool, Rick. I love y'all, man. Well, look, y'all, I'm not going to sit here and ramble on much more. I love y'all to death. I'm going to keep this kind of short. But again, just to end on this note, I'll just let y'all know my wife and I made plans today. We're going to start cross promoting this channel with like my Patreon, my TikTok, my Instagram. So we're going to start bringing some crew over here, mix it up a little bit. But just to let y'all know, and I'll go into this later, but the only reason that's possible to get my wife involved to help, because she kind of got really upset with the whole other community, is because of y'all. I said, look, we can do it on the YouTube because I've got a good group of people that if these other people come over here trying to start trouble, these ladies especially, they ain't going to let them slide. Y'all ain't going to let them slide, are you? Y'all ain't going to let them slide because y'all got the best of me now. I'm back in my body now. Y'all got the best of me. And in all fairness, some of those people didn't get the best of me all the time, so I got to be fair to them on that. But y'all got the best of me. Y'all got the best of me. So thank y'all for the help and love and support. It's fully reciprocated here. If y'all ever need me, reach out via email. We can talk, we can email, we can exchange. You can ask Lisette. These other people have been doing it. I love y'all. I'm here for you. And yeah, let's fucking kill it today. Pardon my language. Let's kill it. And I'll be back on the Entheogenic Esquire, my member stream. So I'm sure y'all will be there probably later on this afternoon, but before, I'll try to do it before Candace comes on. So that way y'all don't have to sacrifice watching me for Candace. So anyways, love y'all. I will be back around this afternoon and we'll talk a little bit further about the John Bray thing. Love y'all. Enjoy your day. Much love. Peace, y'all.